Hello YouTube and welcome back to my Revolutionary Girl Utena reaction series. Back here again for a couple of episodes of Revolutionary Girl Utena, episodes 28 and 29 I believe, which is billed as kind of a two-parter, so looking forward to it. I'll address this now as well as address it later for obvious reasons, but I'm changing sub-tracks, so some stuff has stopped. Well, it hasn't stopped, but it's not out yet, and I'm not waiting, so I'm gonna grab a different translation for the show, and this has caused me a little bit of stress, I guess you could say. So through kind of asking the Discord and that kind of thing, and getting a few examples of the kind of translation changes and that kind of thing, I've come to the opinion that I don't think it matters all that much. Like, I saw, there was a specific Tumblr post I saw which kind of showed one scene and showed a bunch of different translations for it. There's quirks here and there, but I don't think any of the actual kind of meaning of the show is getting missed. So that's good. That means that, hey, I can kind of pick whatever I want from that perspective, at least from what I see right now. Of course, I'm willing and able to change things if need be. Seems like the consensus was the Nozomi Entertainment sub. And great for everybody else, that's freely available on YouTube in certain territories of the world. So have at that if you want that. If you want Utena for like free to stream, that's pretty cool. However, for my intents and purposes, I could not find a torrent for the Nozomi Entertainment sub. Therefore, I would need to get my copies off of YouTube as well. Therefore, I'm going through one level of downgrading the visuals through YouTube, and then I'm putting it through my software, and then I'm putting it through a fucking converter to get it to a BitChute file that can go to thing that actually looks good. It's going to look like shit. So I've moved away from that because I can't find the torrent for it, and I've moved towards, there was the Judas file set with the PGS sub, and that is probably what I'm going to be using. The PGS sub, to my knowledge, is basically the Blu-ray sub, so it should be very close to the official thing that you buy if you want to support Utena as a series. Again, people have said bad things about the official sub, but people have also said bad things about every single sub track I've listed thus far, up to and including some stuff. So I don't know, man. People are just very particular about this show and the subbing of it, and I can understand that considering I've seen most of the show and it's pretty particular, let's put it that way. So again, if there's some translations that are particularly wonky in what I'm using, I'm relying on YouTube comments to kind of catch me up to speed on that kind of thing. Recommend me something else, blah, 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 blah. The world is your oyster. I answer all my comments. I'm active on Discord quite a bit. Just let me know. The other thing before we jump into the YouTube comments on episode 27, I wanted to highlight this one interpretation of a scene from the comments of episode 26, which went public last week. So episode 26 was the Mickey Causeway thing, and we're highlighting kind of Utena happening upon the Sunlit Garden scene type thing. Do you know what I mean? Like when she's at Mickey's place and it's like, oh, this must be the radiant thing he was talking about. And this interpretation here was by Alex, yes. So Anshi is trying to explain to Utena that, hey, the thing that Mickey was saying was the radiant thing in the Sunlit Garden and that awesome memory, it was a metaphor. It was a metaphor, Utena. It wasn't actually Sunlit Garden. It wasn't actually radiant. These words convey meaning, and they're trying to get that across in metaphorical form. But Utena just kind of doesn't get it, and really thought that what she heard was what she saw was what she got, if that makes any sense. She didn't see any other layer to it. She saw it in a black and white way. And I think this kind of protagonist-esque dumbassery optimism is kind of what Anshi really needs at the moment. Like, that really spoke to her, even though that Anshi is basically really cynical all the time about human emotions and everything, and is often playing people like chess pieces and that kind of thing. It's nice to see a character that just sees things for what they are, and what you see is what you get. And I love that this is like a secret thing that Anshi doesn't want to show to Akio, right? Who is essentially like controlling her at the moment. That's the vibe I'm getting. Anyway, she wants to hide this, and as another commenter said, she broke the teacup in order to kind of not reveal this piece of information to Akio, even though this piece of information isn't particularly, like, it's not going to shatter anything, it's not going to like break the whole plan or anything. It's just a nice cute thing that she wanted to keep to herself, but also demonstrates in the process that she is moving more and more towards Utena's side, at least emotionally, and for her own reasons, not for Utena's reasons of being a prince is kind of cool sometimes. Archie's doing it on her terms, and that's the important part. So yeah, again, I'm going to try to go back and highlight things I think that are particularly cool from the comments and make me think about things in a certain way. As always, all the comments are appreciated. I'm trying to reply to the public ones as they come up. I'm imagining when the egg episode goes public, there's going to be a ton of comments as well. So looking forward to that. However, these are the Patreon only comments from the egg episode, which I just mentioned. If I can find the thing, there we go. As always, if you're a patron, you can access the YouTube comments and get me to read them in some amount of detail, which is one of the perks of paying me money, which is very cool. Pencil Sharp here with the first comment, one of my all-time favorite singular episodes of anime. I don't know if I'd go quite that far personally, but upon thinking about the episode again and again and again, it's definitely climbing the Utena episode ranking, right? Like maybe even top 5? Maybe. There's a lot of good Utena episodes. And I think this one is only growing as we consider more and more things about it. It is one of the most ridiculously broad and deep episodes I've seen in a while. Since the Wakaba stuff, since Mikage's whole thing. Those are also very deep. Utena as a show is extremely good at this, presenting something to its audience, it being understandable, but endlessly deep when you dig into it. It's kind of crazy. And yeah, I guess I'm waiting to see the episode's events in the context of the rest of the series. I love it as a turning point for Nanami, but is it a turning point? How much are we going to see her move away from Torge in the wake of this? How much are we going to see her move towards, I guess, what the egg episode represented? We've seen how Nanami has no one she can trust, and now it manifests as all this shame, misinformation, and assumption because the only place it is safe for her to ask is her own imagination. I think this episode is a strong argument for why sex ed is important. If you don't think sex ed is important, you are crazy. You're a crazy person. Again, time and place for it, of course, but yeah, it's very, very necessary. Again, all I'm asking for with characters is layers, right? There's layers to it. That's all I'm asking for, basically, and Nanami passes that. Because initially I was really hot on Nanami, and then she fucking killed an animal, and then I was less hot about that, and then she's just grown and grown from there a little bit more. Like, again, it's multi-layered. There's conflict going on. I say this constantly. The best way to make an interesting character is to put a contradiction in there. So Nanami initially thinks one thing, but then comes around to another side, again personified by all the metaphors we talked about last week. Interesting. We love it. Nanami getting angry at Suwabuki scene, I think, represents period mood swings. Sure, I can see that. Again, with the major metaphor of the egg episode, I think being menstruation. I don't want to say she was just like mad because it was that time of the month, because that makes me seem like a bit of a fuckwit. But you know, maybe that's what we're trying to get across. Torga's line, "Don't lay eggs," works on the idiom "to lay an egg," which is to get a 0 to fail at a task. Looking this up, it seems like the phrase actually originated in the theatre, not sports like I assumed. Interesting. So yeah, along with the theatre connections to the rest of Utena, probably like a nice link into the whole laying an egg metaphor thing, which again is multi-layered, pardon the pun, because like, hey, yeah, laying an egg means we don't allow women to make mistakes. Egg can also link into the major egg metaphor of revolution in the show. It can also move into I don't like women that possess their own femininity, if that makes any sense, that I don't possess their femininity, they do. I don't get to eat their eggs. Go from there, wherever you want. Like, yeah, it's again, there's a lot of interpretations. Broad episode for sure. Next comment here from Victoria. I think you're right on the money with a lot of the metaphors this episode has, and I think one of the ep's biggest strengths is that the egg functions as a successful metaphor for multiple things simultaneously. I don't think you necessarily missed anything, but there were a few things you seemed uncertain of your interpretation on, so I can extrapolate about that. That's mostly for sure. Pardon the pun. I'm treading on eggshells a little bit because this is a very female discussion, and I'm man. So again, it's just like not something I'm particularly familiar with, and I don't want to speak out of turn on something I'm not particularly familiar with, because that would live up to the reputation of everything the show's trying to call out. I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Either way, eating eggs. This one in particular made me feel very uncomfortable, so I'm happy somebody else is talking about it. While I'm sure there's some interpretation that makes sense for specifically eating the eggs, I've always read the point as more destroying the egg. Once Nanami is asking for the girl or the boy question, I read the metaphor as shifting towards pregnancy. Since we're talking Nanami and whether or not she's that kind of girl, it's specifically pregnancy out of wedlock or teen pregnancy. Hence Torga's talk as to why they would bring shame to the family. The boy trio doesn't just eat the eggs, they whisk them with the pointed end, while Nanami is wondering what all other teen girls do with their fertilized eggs, if having them is so shameful. The implication IMO being that there's some symbolism of terminating pregnancy here. I've never had that experience, so that's as far as my analysis goes, but circling back, we go to Torga. I was definitely seeing a little bit of this as well. It just becomes awkward for me talking about it when the characters are very young as well, talking about pregnancy and that kind of thing. A direction I don't think the show will ever go, I don't think, but I've been surprised before. But yeah, there definitely is to something about, like, wondering what other girls do with their eggs, and Utena's soccer ball, and Judy's bowling ball, and them kind of using them for different activities instead of terminating them and eating them. I don't know, man. Fucking read into that what you will. I'm not trying to imply anything. Oh, this is a great touch. So we're talking about Torga here, which just goes into a bunch of the rest of the comment. But particularly back in the last episode, episode 26, Torga and Akio are talking about Utena being the golden goose, and the value of a golden goose in that she lays golden eggs. So again, if we're talking about this and laying eggs, and she's the best woman, let's try to possess the best woman. That's what they're trying to say right now, which is crazy. In this episode, Torga uses a lot of shaming language around girls who lay eggs, but the first thing he says is, "Nanami, do you know why we've been able to share a happy life? It's because you're not the type of girl who lays eggs." The able really sticks out to me here. I've seen in one other translation, but both keep the connotation that he's talking about their ability to live together. Who would be taking that ability away? The same guy who Torga immediately asked, "Hey, who are you going to use as a pawn who lays eggs?" last episode. The same guy who we've already seen impact student housing relationships this arc. The same guy with a fiancée Torga's age. The same guy who said his last name means Lucifer. Yeah, Akio. I forget that Akio is faux chairman of the entire school. He would have power to... He has power over Torga. Like, let's be real here. They may, be working together on whatever this car thing is, but there's clearly still a power dynamic there that is shifting one way. Also, yeah, I forgot about the star stuff. My name means Star of Lucifer or whatever he said. That shit was crazy. Hey, speaking of Lucifer, a minute ago, Torga admitted that same-gender attraction might feel fulfilling, but it's important to follow God, even though previously he's called Mickey cute and encouraged Judy's crush, and now he's warning Nanami not to do a thing valuable to Akio because it would threaten their happy status quo, and continues that girls who do that thing betray their families. And then we kind of go into a bit of a rant about Torga and just ask if he's okay, because he's flip-flopping a bit on whatever he's about. I'm particularly interested in this kind of God-Lucifer conversation, and again, Akio representing Lucifer, he's following Akio's kind of words here, but also quoting God. This is what God would want, you not to be in a same-sex union. Devil, I don't know, there's something there, which is, again, is crazy for 97 in a show that is aimed at young girls. That's crazy that we're even talking about that. This show is really cool. But again, I should stop yapping super hard. Thanks again for the comments. They're always really fun. I should do the Patreon shout out as well. And I'll bring that list up and we can get started there. So thank you very much to Annie Gregg, Fleur Nightingale, Mickey Babbers, Trails Plus Plus, Adley, Bobbin, Turbo Ribby, Domobot, Ed, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Gus N, Heath, Ika, Yanko Yavanen, Jacob R, Joran, Clem, Nosta, Lou, Max, Mish, Nick, Pencilsharp333, Ron Lad BNK, Sam1373, Skeleton, Victoria S, Without a Net, Zach, Binchy, Hans Peter, Kelvin Cawthorn, Marsh, Aidan O'Brien, and Shawk. So thank you very much to all those patrons. Again, if you want the episodes a week early, they're there for your viewing pleasure. I guess predictions for the episodes we have upcoming. If we're following our kind of order that we've had set out in arcs, and as well as I've kind of seen the preview for next week, it's a jury thing. We're back. Jury Nation, we're eating, which is good. There seems to be Blue Hair Boy. Blue Hair Boy is a new character in the Jury Shiori dynamic. If we're going to remind ourselves of some of the theming there, Jury's clearly in love with her friend, I don't know, Shiori, childhood friend. However, feels pressured to drop this because kind of miracles can't happen. I want to prove to myself that miracles can't happen so I can drop the hope of ever being with the person I love, right? On the other side, again, during the kind of Black Rose arc, when we saw the other side of the conflict, we saw Shiori actually is really interested in Juri as well and sees her as kind of this picture perfect representation of everything that's awesome, something like that. And in turn, thought that she was kind of unattainable in that kind of way. Also, was, I guess, kind of confused about her sexuality. Again, we've talked about it. She's not out of the closet, but she is thinking about Judy a lot. So, like, I don't know, something's going on there, I think. And then, of course, there was Boy. Boy was in the middle of both of them. Shiori thought that Judy liked Boy, and then to kind of get one over on Judy in a weird way because she's so perfect, she went and dated Boy. But now has thrown out Boy, and now she's back at school or something, so, and then the Black Rose stuff kind of went out from there. There was a weird mix of emotions for Shiori. Remember when she kind of power tripped upon learning that she herself was the object of Judy's desire, what she was hiding in the locket? But also at that same time, kind of this crisis of faith that I've put such this investment in this one person, and they think that I'm the bee's knees. That's crazy. So, a lot of power and not much power, like a really confusing emotion, which Mikage obviously built upon, and then we did the Black Rose thing. The last time we saw these two characters, they'd kind of continued doing their own little thing, just kind of walking in opposite directions of each other, not really talking it out, and kind of retaining that status quo in a weird way. Again, the Black Rose arc is weird as it pertains to people remembering things or not. So, Of course, there's the Juri locket stuff as well. She has a locket that she keeps, which has Shiori's picture in it. The picture is really tragic as well, which I keep bringing up, which is the picture of Shiori not looking the camera in the face, looking somewhere else, which is a constant reminder for Juri that she will never be looked at by Shiori like that, which is crazy. Of course, she tried to get rid of this locket. She tried to throw away these feelings, but however much she tried to hide them, they kept returning back to her. She always got that locket back in her hands. So upon the revelations at the end of the Mikage Black Rose stuff, it became very obvious to me that Anshi was the one that maneuvered the locket in a way to propel his shit. So, what role is Anshi going to have in this? What is she actually going to think about the situation? I think this arc, in essence, is a lot of clarity for Anshi. She's seeing things really clearly. She's seeing people's emotions. I remember episode 26, where she did the perfect thing, which manipulated both Kozue and Mickey into failing. So is a similar thing going to happen here? Is she going to read these two people's emotions, Shiori and Juri, and do the perfect thing to get them out of whack? I don't know what a car ride looks like for these two characters either. I haven't even talked about Blue Hair Boy, who is a weird Prince stand-in guy. So we will learn about Blue Hair Boy, I'm sure. And yeah, I should stop yapping and probably watch the thing because I'll run out of time if I don't. So yeah, let's do that. Join the Discord, comment, subscribe, all that normal stuff. I don't know. I don't want to do the full shill stuff. It takes up too much time. So yeah, we'll jump into episode 28 of Revolutionary Girl Utena right now. Rightio, I have episode 28 of Revolutionary Girl Utena up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 28 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your copy. And I'll take you over here briefly to talk you through the new stuff. Very, very cool. Where am I? There I am. There we go. So yeah, if I go here and I go subtitles and I look at my two subtracks, I've got 0 and I've got PGS. I've been told PGS is basically the Blu-ray sub, so keep that in mind. Full should have both signs and songs and the actual sub, so we're going to pick that one. It's the Judas file. I've had a little bit of a look through the opening because that's the only thing I can really watch without spoilers in it, and it seems like the image looks fine. So we're going to keep it. And yeah, I mean, I'll pop back over here and we'll do normal stuff. As always, I'm open and happy to hear any criticisms with what I'm doing, basically across the board. So yeah, I mean, we're using that subtrack. I've already told you the time code. Let's jump into this sucker. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Tell you one thing I've noticed immediately is the audio. So maybe we'll keep an eye on that. Sounds a little bit compressed, but again, I'm using a broken fucking headset anyway, so it's not too crazy. Yeah, it's true that does say Revolutionary Girl Utena. The image is sharp, less fuzzy than the some stuffs. Yeah, it looks fine. Okay. I mean, you could be like a crazy person and like really go in and criticize it, but that's not me, at least not today. Wait, I've got to keep an eye on what order the characters are shown in that opening. Is that the audio? Is that kind of the order we go through them in the show as well? Does that make any sense? Like, because Sayonji's first, and then is it Miki, then Juri, then Nanami, then Toga? Something like that? Okay, we're in a Tetris world. What is this? Uh, is she in Evangelion? What's happening? Okay, yeah, true. Oh, I see what's happening. Yeah, that's the new guy, right? She's so cool. Oh, different blue head boy. Darker blue. Big Mickey. Okay. Archie's face, huh? Cool. Sick. Yeah. Those swords look like the same swords we'll use up at the duels. Okay. Sure. We're just as good as each other. Yeah. Ooh. Bucho. Oi, oi. Okay. Whispers in the dark, you say? What are we whispering in the dark? Yeah. He has. I don't know who that is, but sure. Okay. How old is he? Ugh. Away sick? What do you mean? This is so funny. This is like fan fiction. Here's a steaming hot end of the world letter. Sorry. Too busy eating eggs. Oh, here's a rose seal. Okay, sure. What is that? Yeah, Nanami's really interesting in that scene. Is this loss? What is that? Okay. He's so suave. Judy's face is so funny there. Okay. Hello, purple haired one. Yeah. 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 You've used boy to get to Judy in the past. Are you going to try to do that again? True. Yeah, that's, yeah, not particularly subtle. Gotcha. Oh, I dropped my sword. Let me bend over and pick it up. I'm recording. That's always good. I'm going to grab onto your sword. Yeah. Stop polishing your sword and get out here. I wonder if it was. We'll see. Yeah, cool. But is that playing into Shiori's little plan? Oh, they're so close. I like how the background characters sound like the Shadow Girls. Speaking of Shadow Girls, there's one right there. How does this make you feel, Judy? Probably not great. You know where. Yeah, what is this place? This place is crazy. Oh, it's their place. Okay. You two know each other from not like Shiori way back, but a little bit way back. Oh yeah, she looks mad different. They were sitting pretty close. I don't know. Please teach me my fencing moves. Hmm. Well, he had a letter from the end of the world, so that can't be good. Grabs chest. I know. I've seen the show up to now. Hmm. Well, I'm not really, man. That's you kind of just ignored. That's a non-answer. You just non-answered her. It's a free country. That's a what are we even doing? All right, these two are gonna chat it up, which is always just great. Hmm. Yeah. What does that make you feel, Utena? Well, I'll have to fight the bloke. So holding hands. Well, what is this? It's like she's in her own fucking platforming stage. Utena 2D platformer when? Dancing in the moonlight. What an odd thing to say. This is really well done, though. Oh, the costuming. This is a really cool vibe for an episode. You did. Why else were you gripping the locket? Okay, fuck you. Oh, he knows everything, everything. I thought he was just being a cunt. All right, sure. Yeah, the water in that scene was something. Especially we linked water with kind of Absolute Destiny Apocalypse as well, and kind of waterfalls opening. I don't know, something in that maybe. We'll see. Yeah, really good looking episode thus far. Yep, there's the tragedy locket. True. Even the colors there are really cool. All right. Is your ploy working, Shiori? A little bit. Step into the light. What is that face? It's funny. Is she scary? I heard somebody like rattle plates in my house and nobody should be home. That's concerning, but we're going to keep watching Utena. Ah! Torga jump scare? It's time to take you on a little car ride? We're really doing a duel this episode. I really thought this episode would be all set up. Okay. I hear water. Listen for the car. Now, I don't want to be crass about rushing water, car as sex metaphor. You get what I'm saying? Anyway. Alright. Let's go on a late night car ride with 3 boys. This can't be bad. What? You weren't surprised about the car? Yeah, you're an adult now. Yeah, okay. Sexy body. Yeah, interesting. Interesting for the character of Judy here. Alright, we're no longer being subtle about the metaphor either. Yeah, the throb of the engine, you reckon? Alright. Thanks, Dad. Okay, we're back in the garden. Yeah, that's me. Sup? Yep. White rose. Yeah, what gave it away? Okay. Yes, man. I will do that. Alright, hello, Shadow Girls. Koi? I'm fishing? Oh, I get fishing. That's funny. Good bit. Um, Fishing as in baiting somebody, as in sure this entire episode has been baiting Judy, right? I think that's what we're getting at. Baiting, which we'll probably see play out in a more concrete way next episode, like the results of that. Also, how does I don't even know his name. Blue haired guy. How does he know Judy's secret? How did he learn such information? I guess being close to her earlier, I guess. He's got a good gaydar where everybody else in the show doesn't. Is that something? Or their previous interaction, maybe? When they were sitting close together on that bench? We'll talk about it. Let's not go too crazy too early. All right, we're on official Anchi watch as well. We're going to see what she does to make this successful. Yeah, this version of the song's really cool too. I like the guitar work. Of course, we're going to drive our stupid car onto the arena. There's the lights. Mm-hmm. And yep, she looks very pretty. I'm sure Judy would like to see that. When has dueling ever been about who's better with the sword? Okay, what an odd thing to say. Pentagram shaping? That's not good. These lyrics are weird. Alright, we'll do lyrics later. Yeah, stop reading them. They're very direct, the lyrics. Alright, let's fight. Yeah, this guy's weird vibes, eh? Well, it's just everybody's gone in with overconfidence in the past where you're not giving that, at least on the surface. But you may just be a fucking pathological liar. Yeah, this guy's fucking sucks. He just keeps lying. Gets people to put their guard down. Alright, aren't you? Oh. Aren't she did fucking nothing? Because this is normally when we just fucking win, so... Are we just gonna fucking win? Wee! What the fuck? That was a crazy shot of, Shiori. Alright, sure. So she fucking crashed out, and you just got your shit fucking mixed. Alright, but Utena, what's the vibe? She looks kind of fucked up too. Alright. Let me polish your sword? Huh? Oh, okay, gotcha. Whose sword was that, chat room? I feel like she might appear on screen right now. Yeah, I'm wondering how you know the secret. Anyway. I think he's just a fuckboy. Sure. Ruka? Alright, we can remember Ruka. Yeah, a very overtly sexual episode. Way more than the rest of the series has been up to this point. Well, at least less subtle about it, let's say it that way. Yeah, I like the reveal at the end about Shiori and whose sword she's been polishing the entire time. It talks to the motivations of her even doing this entire thing. This whole thing felt like a fling that was a bad idea from the very start, basically made to get back at somebody, right? An aggressive rebound from something that never really existed but kind of did in order to gain attention. But then when she starts to, take the car ride, feel really special, blah, 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 fuckboy just drops her. Okay, pretty direct episode. Nonetheless, very pretty. And what else did I like? There was something that'll come to me if I keep talking. Anyway, I'll talk about it later. Sure. Whatever. Fine. Preview? Chair. Outsiders can never understand. Oh, Luke is still in the fucking show? Okay. I was so sure he was just going to refuse to elaborate and leave. Azure Paler Than the Sky. It's a crazy title. Sure. Little bit of analysis on the episode coming right up. I was unsure whether I would do both together, but I think that this deserves its time, albeit probably a bit shorter than I'm used to. So for the first time in what feels like a long time, I'm not absolutely lost on the literal events of the episode. I know what the characters want. Outside of Ruka, I guess, he's a little bit weird, but I know what the characters want, I know what they're trying to do to get to other characters, and I understand a lot of the central metaphor at play because it's not particularly subtle. It's about sex, everybody. Very, very cool. So hopefully a lot of the discussion can center around how this is conveyed and I guess a few of the other more interesting character motivation angles, like talking about Juri a little bit more here than the two main characters here, which I would say is Shiori and Ruka. Yeah, hopefully we can branch out a little bit more and talk about more interesting things than literally just recapping. But yeah, the episode was good. I want to see it in tandem with the next one to get a full view. I think the next one is when we go crazy. We've kind of established what's happening in this episode, and kind of the reason for their failure at the very end is interesting as well. But I think when we kind of expand upon that and make it a little bit more interesting is the next one. But either way, I wanted to talk about this kind of first shot and this kind of area in general for Judy, right? I love this shot in particular. This is like peak I'm in the closet visual metaphor, right? So there's a lot going on here. One, there's a bench for two people where they would sit and gaze off into the sea on a lovely afternoon sun and that kind of thing. She looks over, the rose is spinning, the orange rose which we've associated with Judy. She wants somebody to sit here with her. We've seen the show, we know that that's Shiori. The other thing I'm noticing here is that the sea looks like a stage curtain right now. And we've associated Judy a lot with the stage in general. Right now, she's behind the curtains. She's not allowing anybody to see into her show, into any of the things that she wants to outwardly, show to everybody else, if that makes any sense, right? The only person that we've seen here with her is Ruka. Like, the only person that's been able to see behind her curtain and see her real secrets and that kind of thing, right? That's why later in the episode when it's like, we'll meet at the special place, this is the special place, right? Like, we're the only two that know about this. We're the only two that know about this place. We're the only two that know about my secret in general. Now, I thought the episode was going to go in a direction where Judy was going to be bi, but that doesn't seem to be the case. She does not seem to romantically care about Ruka. So sure. Because I saw them sharing a bench and I'm like, maybe, but no. More is like, again, this is like, it's like the old love triangle, but we've got a boy that actually matters. Instead of it just being boy, it's no longer just boy, it's really important boy. Put it that way. I should also mention again, a lot of the Judy stage stuff is predicated on Takarazuka Review and Rosa Versailles and a bunch of other stuff that kind of runs into her character design as well. It's all very interesting, very, very much for sure. But I don't want to reiterate all the same stuff I've said before with regards to her character. Again, this is the shot I was talking about before with the spinning rose. I've never been able to put these feelings into words. My heart keeps whispering them to me, just as yours does to you. Obviously talking about Shiori right now. Judy is under the belief that Shiori gets similar kind of things going on, which you can't exactly put her feelings into words all the time, and definitely obviously feels very strongly about Judy. We see here Ruka has appeared. Now, I noted this very early. So we've got Judy on a roll. She's taken out 8 combatants or whatever that are in the fencing club with her, and she continually sheaths her own sword like this, right? But that's it. She's polishing her own sword. Nobody's polishing her sword. You know what I mean? It's very subtle. But my question is sword, and we've brought up Judy in a lot of conversations with regards to androgyny before. I don't know, I don't want to speculate, obviously, but it's interesting, let's put it that way. It's more fuel to the fire. Again, not talking about actual genitalia per se, but maybe, yeah, trans allegory insert here, that kind of thing. Now, I thought this was an interesting moment for Mickey as well. Mickey looks up and he sees Ruka. Ruka's very tall. He also possesses blue hair. And I think this is a moment when he's like, oh shit, I've been kind of beaten here. This guy's like serious business. Kind of looks Mickey's way and he kind of gets blushy as well. I don't know, it's a little bit weird. I also like this. We see kind of the expressions change on these two characters' faces as they notice who's down there, right? Oh, this guy's actually like serious business. He may pose a challenge to Judy. Coloration's great the entire episode. I love this blue hue in the middle of the both of them as they kind of mirror match each other. Again, relating in the audience's mind that Ruka and Judy are at least similar, or similar enough to one character in particular who may take advantage of this. I also think the show wants it to be power scaling stuff, but I never for a second thought that he was going to like duels don't matter based on how good you are at dueling the other person. It's all emotion. It's all in here as opposed to out there. Like, who are we fooling, right? This guy has no bearing on anything to anybody. He's not going to beat Utena in a duel. Are you crazy? I think the biggest example of this was Judy's duel initially, right? Where by complete miracle or happenstance or anything else, like the sword fell and it hit her rose. Like, skill doesn't matter, not at all. In a very similar way to the sheathing the sword that Juri did, we see Ruka is doing the same thing here. Again, attaching that particular metaphor to Shiori polishing somebody's sword a little bit later on. And now let's talk to this guy's like, okay, we got white roses as well, which is interesting. Somebody's print somewhere, let's say that. Let's talk about Ruka's main character quirk. Well, not main, but one of them. His main one is that he's a fuckboy. But his other one is that he always undersells himself in a hope to get other people off guard so he can get something from them, right? Self-deprecating, but I don't think he believes a second of it, right? So he says right here, like, oi, oi, you're the club captain now, aren't you, Arasagawa? And doesn't want any of the like stuff that comes with that, any of the pomp and circumstance that comes with being the captain. But he doesn't believe that. He still acts like the captain. He just says that to get what he wants. Yeah, just interesting character quirk. The episode is called Whispers in the Dark. Again, secrets that are only said when nobody else is around, when the kind of doors are shut and everything else. It can also be like a sex thing, of course, Whispers in the Dark. But like I'm thinking like the Juri one's very obvious. We had it in the first scene, right? But the Shiori one is less obvious. Like, did she know the entire time that she was polishing Juri's sword and just like kind of forgot about it? Didn't want to put it into words, but knew what she was doing the entire time? Like, was that her whisper in the dark, as per the title? Potentially. Again, framing is very interesting here. We have Juri standing up from the table, not eating anything, and Miki and Nanami are eating happily whatever's on the table. Of course, like, this is interesting in contrast with the last episode, which was explicitly not about eating. We were saying that eating was bad. Don't eat the eggs. Bad. Don't do that. Oh, that's even funny. I just thought about that. Because Sayonji always burns the eggs, which means he always just fucks up around like revolution and trying to get things right. Like he's just a fuck up, and we got that across with like a fried egg metaphor. That's funny. Yeah, I'm trying to get what we're saying here, right? We've associated chairs with being in the game. If you're seated, you're in it. You're willing and able to listen to what the end of the world has to say. Judy right now is standing up. I'm also noting this cloud here almost looks a little bit like a wing, like an angel wing. Interestingly enough, the thing we're serving up on the plates as well is like pieces of paper. I guess, yeah, we're seated and we're eating up whatever the end of the world has to say because we put that on the table, right? I think right now we've put down, the first thing we put down was like, hey, Ruka's back at school and he's in the student council and he's the fencing club captain. I think that's what that piece of paper is meant to say, and we're eating that up, right? Because it's been served to us. Judy, not so much. She's just kind of seeing through it a little bit. Then, letter from the end of the world. Bang. Oh, shit, it's from the end of the world. Better eat it up. Because we're seated. We're in the game. Something like that, I think, is being gotten across here. A lot of nice, subtle character stuff as well. We see, like, oi, oi, I'm back from my illness, blah, 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 blah. Juri's face here as he gets closer. Little tensing of the teeth. Little angry about it, unsure about his presence. And yeah, he serves up another hot, steaming letter from the end of the world. Like, letter from the end of the world, you guys have lost your nerve. Two of them are sitting down eating it, right? But Judy, again, not interested. So then, because he has a rose seal, we say, hey, are you gonna, fight Utena now? It's like, no, I just want to indulge myself in some normal school life first. And kind of walks away. Again, I think he grabs the first piece of paper here and then returns it all crumpled up with certain things circled. But again, I can't read Japanese, so I can't tell you. Something, this means something, I guess. So again, he says he's going to, indulge himself in some normal school life, and then proceeds to, he's giving like creepy gym instructor, creepy personal trainer, something like that. That's what his normal school life is. Again, sex metaphor. He's attractive. He's the captain of a club. He has a kind of adoring fan base that want him. Again, we could get meta and say that this is the shoujo audience in a lot of ways, right? They're just like really, really into... I also don't know what the knife and fork is about here, but sure. Like, they're really into what this guy's selling right here, right now. No fair, get away from him. I want him to help me next, that kind of vibe. Where Juri's just like kind of looking upon with disgust, like, What the fuck is going on? Of course, then we have Shiori, whose eyes were locked on Juri. Juri is looking at Guy, and then she gets some ideas. Like, oh, that guy seems to have social clout, and more importantly, social clout with Juri. Let's try to get him. I've done this literally before with another guy, but this guy's way more important, so maybe it'll work this time. Again, at least seems to have a closer relationship with Juri, so I don't mind the idea here. And yeah, this kind of look of intent on Shiori's face as well here. Like, oh shit, I know what I have to do. And then yeah, from there goes full on Ruka mode. So again, we're being very subtle. She puts her hand up sensually and puts her ear to the locker, kind of listening out for something. And then, of course, we're hanging around near his locker. Something slips out of one of the lockers. This could be Judith's locker as well, right? Because kind of the it almost matches up, you know. So sword falls to the ground. Shiori jumps quickly and grabs sword and holds onto it, right? And then Ruka makes up some shit, right? Because this furthers Ruka's plan as well, which I think Judy's end game here, right? We want to get Judy up to that dueling arena because you're working for End of the World in some capacity. So he just makes up some bullshit. So it was you. Someone polished my sword every day while I was gone. Sword polishing. I'm glad it was you, right? And then we're going to do like a romantic thing. And Shuri's just kind of like, oh yeah, I'll go with it. This fits my needs. This fits what I was trying to do in this scene. I just wanted to help you, so every day I polished the sword. Thank you, you're a kind person. Hand on the face, touch right there. A lot of reds, a lot of afternoon sun in the scene as well, reflecting Ruka here. Building contrast between the reds and the blues, which could be a male-female thing as well if you wanted to squint. Oh, and then immediate white rose. So he leans in for a little bit of a smooch here, right? If you can see it through VLC's bullshit. And then white rose. Oh, this is like a princely moment here for Shiori. Or Ruka playing a stereotypical role of a prince. Like one of the two there. Red, of course, here being the color of the sea, reflected off the kind of sunset of the afternoon. Red being a lot of things. Red in the blush, red in the rush of blood, red as representation of passion. Lots of stuff. Oh, and very unsubtly, we have the penis tower as well. So, I mean, oh, this show's funny. Rumors quickly swirl about these two. She didn't waste any time after going after him. Oh my god, how scandalous, a senior and not senior together. This is almost a red rose here, right? Again, I'm colorblind. I'm going to say that's a red rose. Pink? Pink. Maybe pink and white? Are we contrasting here? Yeah, okay. Because that's the dynamic. The pink and the white is the dynamic we see at the very end. Because those are the two colors of the two duelists, right? You'd have the white for whoever the prince is meant to be, and the pink for whoever the kind of Rose Bride is meant to be. But again, Mr. Colorblind Andy is speaking, so I could be wrong. Now we have Judy here again, silhouetted in the cover of darkness still, hiding behind the stage curtain potentially, just kind of waiting to see these two walk past. Obviously disapproving of this relationship. Look at her, she fucking hates it. And there's quite a bit going on in this next scene. So then she talks with Ruka and says, I want to see you, you know the place. And then, yeah, we both remember this place. We have some memories here, right? Again, this is my secret place. This is the place where we're both together in the shadow, where we can hide secrets and share secrets together. Apparently, this brings back old memories. This is a younger Judy and a younger Ruka who would often practice fencing out here and sit kind of close together. Thoughts, chat room? I don't know. It would give us a clue into you knowing some of Judy's secrets, per se. I taught you all my fencing moves here. From the moment you joined the club, your talent shone brighter than anyone else's. And again, that same shot there where we're both behind the curtain. Just wanted to reiterate. And then, yeah, that was great exposition at all, but now Judy gets to the point. She's doing the fucking Arthur meme. She turns around and says, keep your fucking hands off my girl. In a very unsubtle way, also grabs at her chest here, right? Where the locket is, where her heart is. She loves Shiori. She doesn't want you to get close to Shiori. However, Ruka knows, right? Ruka knows this secret, even though you continually try to hide it, that you're in love with her, and presses upon that. Are you going to tell me right now why you want me to keep the hands off? A really great edit here, very quickly, kind of rushing through all the context, right? Again, just a nice reminder for those that may not be in the know. And of course, Judy here is still hiding the secret. says that she's an old friend of mine. And then, yeah, here Ruka's very funny. He basically just says, don't care, didn't ask, plus you're gay. No, he says, don't care, didn't ask, and then just does what he wants anyway. He gave like a non-answer. He said like, oh yeah, it's a free country, I can do what I want. No, you're not really getting to the root of the problem here. Yeah, it continues with this answer that I'm free to fall in love with anybody on campus. You can't really control my love and that kind of thing. Obviously trying to get a rise out of Juri, who I think is the end game idea here of this entire plot. But yeah, again, I would have assumed that Juri was talking. It still makes sense if Shiori is an old friend, right? Like on the surface, you shouldn't date somebody because she knows you're a fuckboy. You shouldn't date my friend because we're good friends and I know what you are. However, that doesn't take into account the fact that Ruka knows Juri's secret and is trying to push upon it more and more as he gets closer to Shiori. She's a means to an end right now. From there, it's an odd conversation between Utena and Anshi. Kind of these midnight conversations we keep having. I guess, yeah, this is in the episode because it has to be, because we're building meaning through repetition. But this one doesn't seem particularly interesting, right? We're just talking about, oh, Ruka has returned and he's good at swords, so I'm a little bit concerned. It's very pretty, though. Like, for some reason, this makes Utena feel uneasy. I guess this speaks to there's more plot. There's more shit happening behind the scenes than just the Shiori stuff. It makes me feel concerned because I think there's a bigger plot here. Cool, so then we have Shiori running like she's in a fucking platforming video game and rushing water. Now, I don't want to be particularly crass, but let's keep the rushing water in mind as it pertains to the sex metaphor. So we have Shiori running intercut with the rushing water, and then between the rushing water, we're going to meet and embrace to where her heart is racing, and then the two are going to go away to a hiding place where Juri is not. Now again, this entire scene is metaphor, so Juri isn't actually here like in 4K getting cucked. That isn't happening, but it's what is happening in theory. Also, the costuming's fantastic. The choice here to put her in the, I guess, very womanly clothes that she was wearing in episode 7, I want to say. Whatever the first Juri episode was. Like, further emphasizing gender roles here, if we want to get, like, really direct about it, there's only 2 characters here wearing skirts, not wearing pants, right? And they're the 2 that are currently identifying as female, right? There's only one guy that gets the girl in the end, and that's how this triangle is meant to work, right? According to tradition. Again, yeah, water kind of opening, the 2 of them are getting it on. Juri is frustrated, holding onto her locket of Shiori, looking on, sees these 2 continually smooching, and Ruka has one eye open. This means that he knows what he's doing this to get a rise out of you. Which is, oh my god, he knows. But in that same way, Shiori thinks that she's only doing this to get a rise out of you. Or Shiori is really earnestly looking for a rebound. But, I don't know, Shiori's weird. Shiori doesn't seem to be on the same level of mind games as the other 2. Either way, the fountain then runs dry, and the 2 couple that kind of instigated the fountain are now nowhere to be seen. And the conclusion is that he knows everything. He knows everything. Like, your secret everything. Which, again, it was implied that Shiori maybe didn't remember everything from the Black Rose stuff. Black Rose stuff is weird. Just forget about it. It's weird. I like the ticking clock here for Juri, right? Just something that's constantly going, metronome, formula, building up stress, running out of time to do something, running out of time to confess my feelings, potentially, as she is looking at this locket of Shiori. Yeah, we're definitely building up kind of a red-blue contrast, or a purple-blue contrast. So this is almost like Juri looking around at everyday things and seeing, like, this relationship kind of in everything. Like, it's the only thing that's on her mind. Yeah, the color analysis in particular this episode would be worthy of something, right? Especially the afternoon sun, and then we're always attaching that to these kind of interactions. Again, more to this running out of time, to a sunset, to I need to do something before the night comes, that kind of vibe. But more, I guess, tangibly, we have Juri here saying, hey, I've gone to Ruka, but Ruka doesn't want to stop this relationship. Now I'm going to go to Shiori, see if she wants to stop the relationship. And yeah, she just out and says it. Shiori, it'd be better if you didn't go out with him. I know this might come as a surprise, but I'm just worried about you. You can't trust him. Juri, You really are the worst. Again, she sees through your lie here a little bit. It's not about him, it's about me. It's not about him being a bad bloke. It's about me being with somebody. And sure, he kind of knows that maybe. Now, this face from Judy is kind of heartbreaking, right? If I can grab it. Yeah, right here. Like, oh my god. But it's also kind of funny. I don't know. It's like, I can't believe that my favoriteest person in the world would call me the worst. It's a pretty terrible day for Judy. And yeah, Judy's kind of stunned in the classroom, left alone. We hear some kind of third party chatter that she's a scary person and that kind of thing. And then, yeah, we get into some of our Utena formula stuff. We have Shiori running again over to the fountain, the sex. She's going to get the sex. And instead of seeing a blue head boy, she sees a red head boy. And we know that the car is coming. Again, if you wanted to, I guess, strengthen your metaphors as well, we're listening out for the engine, right? And then we see more and more water come out of the fountain, you know? Car metaphor equals sex, fountain metaphor equals sex. Ruka wants to show you something even more amazing. Let's go in car with him. And then, of course, the weird part is all of this is being kind of facilitated by a 63-year-old man. So, like, I don't know. Bad touch. Yeah, there's definitely something here. We're cutting out of this water shot when Torga gets his boy band on into a very red shot of the car, building contrast between the blue and the red again. Red passion, red sex, all kinds of stuff like that. This is what I mean when I say it's not a particularly subtle episode. Also, I don't know about Shiori getting into a car with 3 guys as well. Probably not a good idea when it comes to the metaphor of the car. Again, very unsubtle. You're going to become an adult now. Everything in the world can be ours. We're going to show you the end of the world. And again, broader conversation about the entire arc, like showing somebody the end of the world, them becoming an adult, them growing up, them doing this rite of passage, and then becoming somebody that can kind of actually change the world. It's like a metaphor for growing up in general, right? You have more power as you get older, right? And kind of almost that kind of race to the bottom type vibe to it. Yeah, there's something here with kind of the revolution idea of the story as well. Oh, she's not wearing like a shirt. Oh. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a blink and you miss it one. They also like show their O faces. I don't know. Not subtle. And then he does these fucking gymnastics on the car. I just wanted to highlight this because I think it's funny that, Utena says, always so pretty. Choo Choo thinks that Utena's talking about them, but not the case. I meant the roses. I didn't mean that you were pretty. Which again, Choo Choo, internal into Anshi, read into that how you will. I meant the roses, not the actual you. That's probably an overanalysis. So they pull up in the car again. I don't know, this plays out pretty similarly. I wanted to highlight this one part where we have the 2 actual duelists talking to each other, and then we have Shiori walking over to the side with Choo Choo and Anshi. Definitely a separation here. Oh, even again, bit of a red versus blue idea going on. So here's Shiori. Shiori grabs fucking White Rose and rips it from the bush, and then gives it to old mate, you're my prince. Duel for me, that kind of vibe, right? But I think the aggression in which she like grabs the rose is interesting. I'm reading it as like, this is something I have to do to get what I actually want. I guess from that perspective, Ruka isn't entirely wrong at the very end of the episode when he says it's all Shiori's fault. If Shiori's heart was in it and she didn't crash the fucking car, they would have won. He's a very good duelist, right? So what gives? It must be woman's fault. She must be the weak link here. Which is kind of true, because she is more focused on Juri than you. That's the vibe. Again, I think further established here with this little fishing metaphor. I'm using Ruka as bait to get the fish that I actually want. But I keep getting different things. I keep getting this, I keep getting that. We may eventually just go with the tire equal car, but in the end I wanted the fish. I wanted Juri. Yeah, I fished, I got someone's sandal, I fished, I got a kettle, and this time I fished and I got a car tire, right? And now I don't know what this is like playing with the tire, and then we make like weird sounds like tire, hiya, like that kind of. I don't know what that'll. Funny though, it's a good joke. I don't think I need to do new Absolute Destiny Apocalypse. I do like the stage direction ideas to it though. A lot of lighting cues, which fits in with the jury stuff, but we can talk about that a little bit more next episode. I guess there's a different translation of the song. I'm sure you guys will let me know if there's anything really tasty there. So yeah, now we have these 2 guys, again, purple and blue contrast. Very different from when Mickey and Kozue came up, because Mickey and Kozue were both in the blue, because they're both blue-colored characters. There's a difference here. I guess we're trying to say they're not on the same page, you know. You still haven't adorned yourself in my colors, for lack of a better term. Now, I didn't see much in the dialogue between Utena and Ruka here during the actual fight. I think, again, it's a lot more of like Ruka downplaying himself, being really humble, but kind of like humble bragging the entire time as well. Like, I don't know. Weird character. Like, being one of the first duelists to say, oh, you have a lot of really unique powers. I may not be able to defeat you. And then still trying his hardest to defeat you. Like, I don't know. He's doing it for a reason. It's a weird character. Now, we have a new song here, and I'll go through the lyrics in turn. With, again, I think they've got a pretty direct meaning and a pretty direct links to old lyrics from other Shuri songs, so sure. Pentagram shaping, pleasure, mandala. Okay, pentagram weird, because pentagrams are associated with devil shit, which could be the Archeo angle, right? What was the other word? Shaping, pleasure, mandala. Now, I just looked up mandala. Mandala is like a geometric formation that has links to many religious things. Like, here we go. Hello, Wikipedia. Circle? Sure. It's a configuration of symbols that has kind of sacred meaning to Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Shinto. Sure. Again, I've heard it most closely associated with Buddhism. So, okay. Some kind of spiritual meaning to all of it. I don't want to get a full-on kind of theology course here. The reproductive cycle, ideals, and reality. Okay, reproductive cycle. That's more to like last episode, sure. Ideals and reality. I don't know about that. Men and women. Dignity, chastity, carnal pleasures, restraint. Ooh, much like Juri's kind of previous songs. Not that Juri's here, but she's here in spirit. Binaries. Two sides of the same coin. I kind of sit in the middle of both of them in a weird way. Again, men and women, carnal desires, restraint, chastity, dignity. I am tied to the dawn of creation, Seraphitus. Are we talking about this? French novel by I'm Not Even Gonna Try. De Balzac? Sure. Themes of androgyny, which is the angle I'm coming at it from. In a castle in Norway, near the fjord Stromfjord, Seraphitus, a strange and melancholic being, conceals a terrible secret. Seraphitus loves Minna, and she returns this love, believing Seraphitus to be a man. But Seraphitus is also loved by Wilfred, who considers Seraphitus to be a woman. In reality, Seraphitus, or Seraphita, is a perfect androgyny? Born to parents who, by the doctrines of Emanuel Swedenborg, have transcended their humanity, and Seraphitus Seraphita is the perfect example of humanity. What the fuck? Sure, okay, I could see how that matches what we're doing here. That's a crazy pull. Again, these guys are so well read. Yo, Googling shit's kind of fun sometimes. I don't know. The two of us androgynous Seraphita. There we go. Yeah, okay. That's the link there too. One or many, word or object, the question as it hangs, becomes its symbol Dioscuri. All creation, gender, chaos. Which is Castor and Pollux. Okay, sure. Which I remember we went into this last time we talked about this character as well, and now I'm forgetting everything. I should go back and watch what I said back in the day. What the fuck? Yo. Yeah, this is one of the more direct songs I've seen in a while. All creation, gender, chaos, anima, animus. Oh my god, Utena, can we stop for 1 second about throwing in like random references to the most kind of hard to understand stuff in the world? Jungian fucking psychology? Anima and animus are the schizogy of dualistic Jungian archetypes among the array of other animalistic parts within the self in Jungian psychology. Stages of eroticism. What the fuck are we doing? Sure. Whatever you say, it's probably correct. Hurry your spiritual perfection, namely revisit your interior, left and right, two sides of me. all in heaven and earth, and both the sexes, 2 heads, 2 bodies, 2 insides, 2 outsides, 2 breeds, 2 me's, 2 fronts, 2 backs. I'll make the world just for the 2 of us. I'll make it so that we're the only 2 in the world. Oh my god. So all these lyrics as well are in Ruka's song. Is Ruka like a male Judy or something like that? I didn't really elaborate on this very much, and it's a pretty interesting point. I probably should have had a better idea there and actually had a go. But Ruka being the male Judy is kind of an interesting idea. Both are hiding something that they don't want anybody else to know, that being who they like, who they respect, and that kind of thing, what their secret plan kind of is. There's also a lot of imagery early in episode 28, this episode here, where we're mirroring the two. They're both like doing the same moves in fencing and that kind of vibe. So there's definitely like that kind of mirror angle to the two characters as well. I've talked a lot to this kind of red-blue contrast as well. Juri's hair isn't quite red, it's orange, but Shiori's hair isn't quite red either, it's purple. So like we're still building that contrast and that triangle between the contrast between those two colors, which again builds to the contrast of these two characters being one and the same, more similar and self-sacrificey than I guess they let on at this moment. There's something in there about these two characters being inherently pretty similar to each other for sure. It's an interesting line for analysis that probably could be done deeper than somebody like me at this moment. Yeah, I think we're going to get into some weirder stuff with this character based on this song. This seems way out of his depth. This song is... In an episode which I thought was particularly straightforward, this song is crazy. I'll make it so it's only 2 of us, the DOS, the 2, the DOS. I'll make the world androgynous, and then we fucking lose the song Hermaphroditism? Hermaphroditism? And then Shiori fucking crashes her fucking car. Sure. Okay, I mean, we can cut back through that sequence and have another look at the fight itself, but like the song was the star there, I think. Again, here we have Ruka continuing to do his shtick of just like saying that, you know, Torga and Saionji, they're good swordsmen too. How can I hope to compete? I think this is a funny looking Shiori too, for the record, but you know. And yeah, I've never heard that during a duel, but I still decided to fight. And these two just like start fighting. I don't know. There's like back and forth dialogue. That's very similar to everything else. I mean, the fighting itself is good still. Yeah, he's like sandbagging like crazy. He's like, I'm still not over my illness yet. How could you bear to fight me? And the whole time I was watching Archie, right? Because Archie played a critical role in the last one with Mickey and Cosway. But she doesn't seem to be playing that role here. She's just kind of sitting there praying. I think she just knows that it isn't serious business yet. So now she's just like praying for the next one, which will be a little bit more serious business. Either way, the light comes down, the prince inhabits Utena in a kind of loving embrace. Instead of it being like a possession, it's like a dual person thing. They're both kind of going in together. And yeah, we're kind of matched with like this scene of Utena flying through the sky with Bro, with this scene of Shiori just like screaming as the car's about to crash. And it's very confronting. I think this is the first time we've seen the car like this smashed up as well. Normally it's kind of like flipped over on its side. This time she just like smashed into the wall. Yeah, there's definitely an intensity to this crash that wasn't in the other ones, right? We see the aftermath, we see the glass shattered, we see Shiori like kind of really hurt here. And either way, still holding her head. She's like, well, we'll do better next time. That miraculous power should be ours after all. I just saw the end of the world and now I'm feeling some type of way about it. And then yeah, he drops the news. There will be no next time. We'll just keep losing. I failed because of my bride. And then, yeah, Shiori can't really take it here. Do you know how much I cared about you? Blah, 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 blah. You're still putting on airs here a little bit. Or maybe you did it unknowingly. I don't know. It's weird. We have... it's like the car door is opening, but the locker door is opening and we see the sword start to fall out. And yeah, I polished your sword every day. I did it only for you. Again, polishing somebody's sword. And then it's like, oh, well, that wasn't my sword. Your performance was amusing. You have a talent for ad-libs. So I think that talks to the scene before, where kind of the first person that brought up that it was his sword was Ruka, right? And then it was to check if Shiori would just go along with it, which she did, because Shiori saw you as a means to an end. But, unbeknownst to you, Ruka also saw you as a means to an end. Jiri is the target of the both of them, in kind of that triangle formation. Again, Jiri gets wind of what Ruka's been doing, we meet at that secret place again, and we keep telling him to keep his hands off Shiori. Ruka argues here that she chose this for herself. Jiri disagrees. Fine, I won't say anything more. You understand it more than any other person. What? Lusting after Shiori? Then Ruka, what are you after? What are you thinking? And then Ruka! Yeah, and we end the episode there. Sure. Let's get the next one up because I talked way too long about that, but I do that a lot about Utena, so sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what the ending is about because I think it just implies that he's going to keep doing what he's been doing. So, sure. We'll get that episode 29 up very, very shortly here. Rightio, I have episode 29. Why did I forget what it was? Up there, ready to go. 23 minutes and 28 seconds on that one. Sync up with your copy using the Judas subset with the PGS subs. So if you wanted to access those, you can. And yeah, just going to give it a 3, 2, 1. Rightio? 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, that kind of song at the very end opened up a real can of worms. Like all those historical references and the everything that we're doing there was something for sure. Because again, up to that point, I thought the episode was quite straightforwardly just about sex and people using certain people to get what they want. That opened up the other door for a little bit more jury content this episode. And this episode had a really interesting title from memory. It was like Azure or something. We'll see it here in a second anyway, but it was very evocative. And Azure is like blue, right? I've got my phone. I can look that up. Live Googling occurring. No, not the Microsoft platform. It is blue. It is the color between cyan and blue on the spectrum of visible light. Thank you. Sure. Phone away, I can watch the show now. So yeah, if it's blue, it's more to that blue and red stuff I've been talking about. Oh yeah, the miracles stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Whose sword was it? I know, I just saw this. I guess it reveals to Ruka. Oh my god. That Shiori is also interested in Juri, right? And now he's leaving her. Hmm. Hmm. Later. Also, the crowd watching is crazy. Aren't you so smart? Yeah, azure paler than the sky. A pale blue. Sure. Like the sea? Now, the sea isn't very pale. It's kind of a stronger blue, if anything. Alright, so she's away from school. Yeah, there's very real presence of like a crowd of people this kind of 2-episode arc as well. Like the masses get to comment. Why are you mad? I say, okay. friend. This is Utena's naivete coming through again as well. Like forcing herself not to care? No. Interesting. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're just getting at. She's getting closer though. We'll give her points, sure. He thinks he's Batman? Alright, sure he's on one. Yeah, I think it was part it was part of a larger plan, no? Gotcha. Judy's so cool. Holy fuck. Interesting. Ugh. Don't look at me like that. That self-sacrifice thing again. Well, yeah, but so are you. Who would want a boy like that? Get his ass. What? No? Stop resisting. That's just that's not consensual. Yeah, get the fuck away from me. Fucking Prince Charming looking ass. Got your locket, bitch. Who drive-by slapped him? Who did that? Oh, you did? How'd you do that? How'd you teleport? Anyway. Interesting. The music here is fantastic too. Oh, what? Okay. Put it to the sword. But, okay, sure. That was crazy. I don't really get the jury's play there. Because it seemed like he was just doing what he wanted anyway. But I guess she didn't want it to be on the pretense of what it was. Gotcha. Yeah, okay. Ah, don't put her in the car. Now that line there's pretty specific. Because Judy's whole thing is like saying she's given up, but she hadn't given up. Oh, the cue for Torga there is really fun. Where did you appear from? Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. Because I thought from the implication there was that she lost the duel. So now this is what he's making her do. I'll do anything you want. Okay. I thought they were Shiori's words. Anyway. In fact, I'd like to keep them hidden. Yeah, but who has the power there if they do win? Am I making any sense? Who actually possesses the power of Dios there? Okay. Show me the end of the world, big boy. Cool. It's that red and blue shot again. Yeah, we're getting everybody. But she doesn't seem that crazy about it. Yeah, the last one was a warm up. I at least got that vibe. What are you? You're chilling out with the Shadow Girls. You can't be doing that. Where are my Shadow Girls? Where are my girls? There's no way. I even bumped my desk there. I'm fucking mad. Yeah, no Shadow Girls is fucking weird. Or the Shadow Girls fucking dead. The aliens killed them. Yeah, the implication about kind of Jiri and Ruka going in the car together after what happened the previous scene with a not very consensual kiss isn't great. I'm going to be real with you. And I'll let the chat room read into that more than I will. But again, it seems my interpretation from last episode is that Shiori was doing a lot of this as a ploy to get to Judy. But at a certain point, I think it swapped over and she was actually really into the guy because of what he showed her at the end of the world. I think that's what's occurred here. Or it was an understanding that all this is hopeless, like looking at Judy and then turning my eyes to him. Oh, he's cute. Let's go out with him. I don't know. No matter the motivation, she wanted to be with Ruka and now she's not. And that's what's causing the angst. She looks like really fucked up. She looks like Torga did when he was isolating himself. Yeah, I was interested to see, the sides which they came out of the car there. One's the driver's seat, huh? Oh. Sure. Okay. Grab my sword. But yeah, there's no one's loving it. No one's yucking it up like they normally are. Like, Judy is doing this out of obligation to get what she wants. She has given up hope. That's a crazy sword. That was a really cool shot. Well, we're gonna cut it with this duel as well. The Eucharist? What the fuck? They're literally fighting in the closet right now. Well, I don't actually want to kill Utena. I used to. Aren't you? Thoughts? You gonna save the day again? Huh. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Alright. Prince boy, give me a cuddle. Well, there goes the locket, but no rose. But of course, that means the secret's out there, which is equally as bad. Where's my little photo? Oh, fuck. Oh, that's cool. Yo! Yo, this is sick. Well, obviously it sucks for her, but it's fucking cool. Yeah, what a moment, huh? Yeah, fuck. Cool. That's sick. Well, you should go over there and look at the locket. Rain on a rose. Oh, weird. It's like a shower is only happening there. From the castle above. Give her a hug. She needs it. Not you, the other two. The windscreen wipers. That's funny. Mm-hmm. Okay, but to what end? Where did Bro go? I didn't even think there was, like, other towns in the show. Oh, Shadow Girls, finally. Okay. Ruka fucking died? Oh. What? Now I'm confused. Because now he's likable, but he's not. He's a fuckboy. He's a fuckboy with a heart of gold. That's fucking weirding me out. Well, that person is you, based on my read of the episode. Okay, sure. I am, yeah. What a absolute 11th hour change of heart for a character. Okay, it turns out he wasn't lying about being sick. He was actually really sick. And he cared so deeply about Judy and their time together that he was willing and able to do really terrible things to help her. But that's kind of what he's talking about. Miracles don't happen unless you tread on other people. But in the process of treading on those other people were Shiori. I don't want to tread on the one I love because that's the whole point of my miracle, right? So, that's kind of crazy. That's something. Again, for something that started out relatively straightforward last episode. Sure. Also, the lyrics on that song again were in a similar vein. Sure. What are we doing next, Utena? Please let me know. Episode 30. Who are you looking at? True. Who shouldn't you fall in love with, Utena? Oh. Well, that would be bad. Foot? Feet? What? I have also decided that I will pursue this again tomorrow morning because I'm hungry and tired and I've got a couple jobs to do. So yeah, I mean, I'll come back tomorrow morning and I'll have another look here. I think that's probably for the best. That or I eat and then come back in a little minute. I'll see what I think. But yeah, that was fucking kind of crazy, you know? Yeah, fuck. So yeah, I'll come back and talk about that here in a second. And we're back. It's the next day, episode 29. What did I think about it? Very, very good again. because it's Utena and it's always very good. It's not like blowing my mind. I wouldn't say it's one of the best episodes in the series or anything like that, but it's solid. It's a solid enough entry into the Utena canon. It has a twist at the very end of the episode, a reveal around character motivation, which I find quite interesting in retrospect, and we're going to rewatch the kind of episode with that in mind. So the way I understand it right now, with the knowledge that I am going to go back through it again, is that Ruka was always looking out for Juri as kind of like almost a guardian angel type character, which again, we'll talk about his methods there and how they're not great, but he's trying to disprove Juri's main thesis, which is that miracles don't exist, right? He's trying to show her that miracles do exist, but for miracles to exist, you need to trample on other people. And the other people in this question is Shiori, which means, hey, that's a questionable method when it comes to Juri. Is Juri going to want to see any miracle at all whatsoever that tramples on Shiori? Not really. Or anybody for that matter. Like, so is Juri inherently proved correct? Should we take Ruka as, again, a benefactor hiding in the shadows for Juri's benefit? It's complicated, especially when considering the kiss scene with Juri, which was entirely non-consensual. So, very cool. Yeah, not a good guy, but he has some okay ideas sometimes, which makes him interesting, which gives me a conflicted perspective. I don't know how to feel, and that's good sometimes. Again, I think a lot of this episode is purposely anticlimactic as well. Like, it's bittersweet, and it doesn't give any of the characters much closure at all, really. And we just kind of, at the very end of the episode, we're just kind of walking off into the sunset again. Like, well, if you can call it a sunset, it looks pretty grim. And, Judy's going to walk off in her own direction, and Shiori's just going to continue to silently follow her without any fanfare. Is this a good ending, or is this a perpetuation of the status quo? Does there need to be a revolution here? I don't know. We will rewatch the episode and we will gather some more information there. I think it's important to talk about Shiori's motivations in all of this as well, because, I had a theory through a lot of this that, again, Shiori only liked Ruka in so much as getting to Juri, right? Like, in a similar way to Boy from before, the same thing that she did before. But it seems like, no, there was some genuine affection here at some point, I think culminating in that car ride. Making this, and again on screen, I don't know if we'll ever see it, but there's a triangle of chairs. There's a triangle of chairs there. And we focus on them a lot when talking about the love triangle at hand. It makes that triangle seem more legitimate. That Shiori actually had some genuine skin in the game with regards to Ruka, and it's almost like Shiori likes Ruka, Ruka likes Juri, Juri likes Shiori, like a genuine triangle instead of two boys, one girl going one direction type triangle, right? Like, it's a triangle that goes in the same direction if you were to draw it, and the affections and where they're going. And again, like, Ruka likes Juri, right? That's what I'm getting from this as well. Maybe not a romantic like, maybe yes, a romantic like, but something to the effect of wanting her to feel better about things regardless. Which seems 11th hour for a character that's this important to be introduced this late to Judy's story, but whatever. It's fine. I gotta start talking about the episode, otherwise I'll be here forever, and I can't be. I've got to work today. The first 30 seconds of the episode are reframed stuff from the last episode, where we learned that the sword that Shiori was polishing the entire time wasn't Ruka's sword, it was instead Juri's. And again, I thought that this was a subconscious thing that Shiori was doing. Maybe it still is, but like, she seems equally shocked by this? No, she's shocked that he knows, I think. Okay, yeah, now that's better. Okay. Again, it started out fake. It became real at car ride. That's what I think about between Shiori and Ruka that's going on. And the visual metaphor here we see, and I've paused on this before, this shot of the two chairs. So again, one of the chairs up here that we can't see at the moment is Judy, right? She's in the darkness. She's hiding. That's another great detail. She would be facing this way, right? Towards this chair. This chair is then in turn facing towards this chair, and then this chair in turn is facing towards this chair, right? Nobody's facing each other. There's no happy ending here. Then we cut to I really like how we're using the masses, this like kind of 2-episode arc, right? Like it seems like a lot of the students of the school are really interested in what's happening here. It's like dead ass some like tea, some drama is going on, and everybody just wants to like be in on the action, I guess. It speaks to Judy's celebrity status in the school, that all the people that kind of orbit her would also be inherently kind of famous. Along with the adoring crowd of fans that was at the fencing last episode, it really fits. Either way, here we see the drama is getting messy. Shiori really cares about Ruka. Ruka's going to walk off in his own direction, even the ways they're facing right now, mirroring the chairs I just highlighted before. So Ruka was operating on a level, right, where he knew about Shiori? Does that make any sense? Like, this is part of his plan, to push Shiori aside here that gets Juri even closer to him again, right? And Juri's taking a very, like, absolute, like, utilitarian view of the whole situation, where she doesn't want Shiori to be unhappy, even if she herself isn't happier because of it. So it's like, I don't want you to break her heart at all. Ruka goes and does that. That is another step in his plan as it pertains to Juri. I think that's the idea. I guess you could call this another contrast between the heat and the cold. We've definitely got a summery vibe to the episode overall, kind of those long afternoons into the night, big long sunsets. I've noticed like this is almost like some heat lines, like the sun bearing down and then building contrast with the shadows down here as Shiori bends her head down. A little bit more stuff there to the kind of red-blue dynamic I think we have going on. Yeah, and even this, even though it's like kind of low fidelity, was fantastic. So above all else, Anshi is the one that turns her head first towards Juri, right? Then she turns it back straight. Utena notices that Anshi does this and then turns her head in turn to go that way. Anshi notices things first, but does not act upon them. Utena notices them after the fact, but acts upon them based on Anshi's stimuli. I'm thinking like, hey, Anshi in her character right now can't go and help her, right? Is as the role that she's playing right now, but she wants to signal to Utena to help her in a way. And all that is predicated on fucking not many frames of animation. That's very cool. Now the title here, Azure Paler Than the Sky. The Azure in question is most likely Ruka, based on hair color. He is the blue in our kind of blue-red thing we had going on, right? And Azure Paler Than the Sky is like, I think it alludes to his sickness. If he's pale and he's paler than the sky, then he's a pretty pale blue. He doesn't have long left. Therefore, what happens at the end of the episode isn't as much of a surprise. Again, there's probably more meanings here if you attach it to other characters as well. Again, more to my point, the masses of the school matter in this 2-episode arc, right? We hear them chattering, we hear gossip swirling, right? Stuff that because Julie is a character at her core that cares so much about the masses and what they think, right? Otherwise, she would be out and proud and there would be no problem. She cares about kind of losing everything in that way, or losing everything, whatever she thinks may happen there. So when we pan from this into Julie having another conversation with Ruka, it makes a whole lot of sense. I'm also looking at these seats. They're like Apple seats, which I think are pretty cool. Shoutouts to the Apple seats. Juri here is channeling all of this gossip and angst into her fencing, which she very often does as kind of an outlet for her, and pants her head up to see Utena. And Utena looks like mad, and I think this is predicated on the small scene during the Black Rose arc, where Utena goes and speaks with Shiori. Utena's kind of on Shiori's side in a lot of ways, like, you guys are like besties, and I feel for her emotionally. You should go and try to talk to her. And yeah, we have Utena like really selling it, really into it. You can tell by her posing. And then over here we have Julie looking away with the chair facing away as well. Like she wants no part of this right now. She's closing herself off almost entirely. And like, again, not meeting this problem head on. Again, here's the best view of the triangle I've been talking about too. 1, 2, 3. Very, very cool. This is it's very stage direction, isn't it? Especially the blurring as you get to the edges. It's like the rest of this doesn't exist. This is where the action is going on right now. And yeah, these feel like stage props. Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's some really weird ordering stuff this episode. So normally this conversation so far has been taking place in the middle of the episode. We're not very far into it at all, and the Shadow Girls show up giga late. So I mean, are we just messing with formula for no reason at all? The elements are still there, they're just slightly different. I don't know, weird one. As always, we have a conversation here between Utena and Anchi, which alludes to the main conflict of the episode, whilst alluding to Anchi's particular plight as well. It's like she's trying to signal something but can't quite spit the words out to Utena, and Utena is not the sharpest tool in the shed. She's a little bit dense, so you may need to explain things very, very directly for her to understand them. Either way, here we have Utena not understanding why Judy is acting the way that she is. She doesn't know the secret. She doesn't know any of that shit. And just says, why can't everybody just be friends and hold hands and stuff? And then Archie's like, well, like, sometimes based on things we don't know, certain people may have to do certain things that they wouldn't normally like to do, right? There may be certain obligations or fears or anything else that take precedence over just being completely honest. And again, this works for Jodie, right? She feels that something will change with her status in the school or whatever else, or her status with Shiori, if any of this gets out, the way that she feels about Shiori and that kind of thing, right? And Anchi, it's very obvious. I am essentially under the control of my brother, and I am one of his kind of digits on his hand right now. I'm literally just a puppet. I can't tell you that, but understand that I have a certain pressure on me, societal or otherwise, to keep following him. And again, Utena just does not get it. She kind of gets it. Do you do that too? And then, yeah, we get very close here to revealing the truth again. Shoutouts to this pause between the dialogue as well. You can really feel like Archie's thinking about it, never mind. Like, we don't get the closure there, even though the audience should have a pretty good idea about what she's talking about there. I really love the voice acting here from Shuri as we switch scenes and kind of catch up with her after the big breakup at the start of the episode, right? She is scornful. She sounds evil. She's like fucked up. She's in this dark room all alone. It almost seems like she's in a hospital room right now. It seems like she's like a recovering fucking psycho person. It's a fun flip very quickly. And I guess this is where the audience is supposed to pick up that, hey, yeah, this was actually pretty important to Shiori and is impacting her mental health in a pretty bad way. Now, this is an interesting conversation in retrospect as well. Let's go back through it. So we start here, Torga's kind of razzing him up about not being able to succeed with the first kind of go at the dueling game last episode. And still we have Ruka here, like, he's never overconfident like a lot of the rest of the characters, where it's like, oh yeah, I will smite her and then I'll take the princess and I will win. No, he's not like that. He's like, I expected I would lose. Tenjo Utena is a dangerous opponent. My skills were no match for her, but still I have a reason to win this no matter what. And the reason to win it, right, this is very direct, right? I still have a reason to win this no matter what. There are no miracles. That's what she always says. So I want to prove that incorrect. That is my reason for why I'm doing this. Again, it's said in a purposely kind of convoluted way, but now having seen the episode, it becomes pretty obvious, right? I thought in the moment this was more just like, I'm targeting Judity now, which I thought was endgame the entire time. But no, there was reasons behind it. We'll get into it. So that kind of shot of the back of Judy panning up when she's looking really closed off and pensive comes in the wake of going and seeing Shiori, right? Where, again, she looks really fucked up. Like, oh, Judy-san is here. No friendly honorifics or anything, right? It's just Judy-san. What do you want? Did you come to laugh at me? You must be really happy now. More and more you disgust me. Did you expect me to come crying to you for help? Well, too bad. I'm not going to do what you want. And I guess that's what Judy was scared of. That what it would look like to Shiori is her coming back over once, you know, the Ruka stuff had happened and she got dumped. Would look like, hey, you're going to crawl back into my arms now, that kind of vibe, right? Especially based on, like, a lot of the Black Rose stuff still didn't happen, right? Like, people forget about it. At least Shiori forgot about it a little bit, or pretended to forget about it. Like, they're not on fantastic terms. They're on speaking terms. They're on, hey, how's it going terms. But they're like childhood friends that kind of drifted apart at the moment. So, Judy coming over and trying to kind of hand out this olive branch looks pretty cynical. I can kind of understand Shiori here. Now, there's a dialogue here. Thank you very much. I don't see who in the scene would have said it, and it sounds like it's coming from the past in kind of some of the audio editing. I almost imagine it as a younger Juri, and this is kind of what Ruka's imagining at the moment, a younger, less cynical Juri, very early in her fencing journey, and how she sounded like and how she was appreciative to Ruka as a senpai and that kind of thing. And then, like, Ruka creepily like turns his head, and then we have a scene with the two of them alone, right? Where it becomes pretty clear that Juri is asking Ruka to take Shiori back, right? Again, it's very much a like utility of happiness perspective. Shiori is sad right now. The way to make the three of us the most happy is for you two to get together. Even if my demeanor stays the same as Juri, I don't get anything out of it. It's completely selfless, but I want her to be happy. And cool, we have this framing. Like, oh my god, drawing the diagrams of this is so fun, right? Because Juri was sitting on this seat, right? This seat looking towards Ruka, right? Her chair, however, was pointed towards another point on the triangle, which nobody is looking at, which is Shiori, right? Juri is looking at this seat, which is facing at her, but Ruka doesn't want to believe it, at least not in this way, and is facing the door. He wants to get out of here at the moment. He doesn't want to listen to what she has to say, but changes his tune a little bit here in a second. And Ruka says his piece, calls her a liar, she's spoiled, she's kind of terrible person, which I kind of agree with. Who would want a girl like that? But of course, you're saying that about Judy's girl, so she's going to get kind of upset about that. But again, the feelings here are complicated. You clearly like Judy, right? So you don't want to date somebody else that isn't Judy, but you can't tell her that because you've got your feelings all mixed up a little bit, right? So he needs to be kind of needlessly cruel here to get out of the scene doing what he wants to do and continue his plan being alive. We get very intense here. Judy fucking runs in and tries to like double punch him in the fucking head, presuming to control over people is what Ruka accuses her of. And yeah, does not like that, gets violent very quickly, but both hands are being held here. And I don't know if he thought this would work, if he thought he was being smooth or not, or it was part of the plan, but from this he turns into like confessing to her, or not confessing to her, like asking her out. Like, time and place is all I'm trying to say. And now, I thought this was a means to an end. I thought you were much like Torga and Akio, were power hungry, wanted what was at the end of the line for this path, and wanted to use Judy to that effect. Yes and no. You want the power, but you want it for somebody else's benefit. You want Judy to have the power. But again, you do currently have her fucking pinned up against the wall like that, which is not fantastic. Don't do that. PSA to all my viewers, don't do that. Yeah, again, the line here, stop resisting, and then again, just like smooching her. She's trying to get him off of her. Not great. Boo, we hate Ruka. He's doing the bad stuff. Boo. Don't do that. Yeah, is pretty obviously a dick move, and I'm happy that he's dead. Not happy. It's complicated, as all things are in this show. Now, I think here we have Ruka playing this as somewhat of a ruse, that he got close to her in order to get the locket, to get what he eventually wanted, right? Another thing that he is trampling upon to get his miracle, which is in turn Judy's miracle, right? But I think he kind of also just wanted to smooch her because he likes her. Thoughts? Thoughts, gamers? And now this is when we get a little bit more symbolism-y. So from a logical perspective, it doesn't make any sense for Judy to agree to whatever he says and become distraught at the kind of idea of a locket being destroyed, right? But it's what that locket represents. It represents the hope. It represents the person that is being trampled upon to get the miracle. She knows the power that Ruka has over Shiori and that he could in turn do this. It's essentially a threat. He's essentially extorting her right now, saying that, hey, I can make Shiori even worse if you don't agree to my terms. And then we have Judy rushing in, slapping him on the face, and crawling to the floor and grabbing onto the necklace, right? Almost bowing down to him in a way. Like, please don't do this, I'll do whatever you want. But again, at that same point, Ruka then says, I'll do what you want, I'll take her back. And then, yeah, this look, right? Of like knowing, I know what you're doing right now. I know what your goals are. I don't like that. I'm extremely worried about that. And kind of realizes here that Judy really, really fucking hates the guy and that he probably, honestly, has no chance with her. I also really like the soundtrack. I noted it in the moment as well. It's a really kind of discordant, jazzy type thing, which kind of matches the kind of flip-flopping emotions of the scene as well as the intensity of it. It just really helps to build that tension, which I enjoy immensely. It's a great decision to do so. I guess when Ruka walks out here, the threat still exists, right? That, hey, I will hurt Shiori if I go back to Shiori, right? Because now that Juri knows that his heart isn't in it anyway, so that'll only end in disaster. I'm also noting here, this almost looks like a love heart, if you kind of trace it around here. Thoughts? Thoughts? I'm seeing something like that. Judy is like, hey, I challenge you to a duel. I will do whatever you want if you beat me in said duel. However, if you win, you and Shiori have to, and then it's like, yeah, I understood. You don't have to say it. I think this is have to get married and live happily ever after, not just date again. I think there's a commitment there. Otherwise, why would Judy even do this? I guess, again, the subtext exists for Judy that if they get back together right now, it's just going to end worse and worse, and Shiori is going to deteriorate even more. I think what she's putting on the line here is that you will date her, and you will love her, and you won't do anything else. You won't fuck with her anymore, and Shiori's mental is going to be better because of that. I think that's what Judy is trying to gain from this duel. But again, it's not especially clear what the motivations are here. I'm kind of having to squint to see it sometimes. Much like this image here, which is also very pretty. I love the ocean in the background and the sun kind of drifting upon it, kind of mirroring the orange, which is Juri's operative color, and we build contrast from this orange into, after the break here, the blue of the night. Yeah, because blue won, not orange. Does this make any sense? Kind of the sunset happened and then the blue happened and now Blue Boy is the victor. It should also be noted that we went back off of the stage here. So we were on the stage. We were somewhere where everybody could see, at least a little bit, right? And then we went to our silhouetted secret place, which I'm seeing is kind of a backstage or at least a stage with the curtain drawn, where we can do this duel behind closed doors. Not even the audience gets a peer into what the duel and what actually happened there. So I think that's kind of neat. There's lots of fun filmic stuff going on. And then we quickly move into car ride. I was kind of theorizing in my head how we were going to get Judy into car, and as it turns out, it was literally extortion, so good, that's good. I like Judy here, who's obviously kind of sulking about what happened, right? Kind of balled up into an egg. And we have Ruka over here just saying that you have a lot of potential and all other sorts of creepy stuff. Now, this speech in particular holds a little bit more resonance for Judy and the believing in miracles part, right? So we've had this speech with everybody. Listen to the sound. Can you hear the kind of engine throbbing or whatever we say? If you hear the sound, then you haven't given up. And that's explicitly what Ruka wants for Judy. He wants her not to have given up on miracles and to be without hope. He wants hope from her. So he's kind of here almost gaslighting her into feeling hope about the car and kind of conflating the two terms, I guess. Yeah, it holds more significance for Judy anyway, that she can still hear the car's engine. And then we're in the Torga-mobile. I really like how Ruka cues Torga to say his line. Say the line, and then he says the line. And then, yeah, this is what Ruka meant by doing whatever he asked, right? I want you to get in the car with me and see the end of the world. Much like some other characters in the car, we see Judy is immediately skeptical of everything. Where are you taking me? Kind of contrast that with some of the characters we've seen in the past, up to and including Shiori, which was loving it the entire time. Instead, here we play, I guess these are the messages that were recorded on kind of Ruka's answering machine, I guess. Tsuchiya senpai, you're the only one for me. I think the implication here is that he got that message multiple times as well, which is kind of creepy. It's like, do you enjoy hurting her as much as you seem to? And then he doesn't answer the question. He says, you have fantastic abilities, Judy. We just need to draw out your kind of latent potential there. I bring out those abilities in you. With us together, we can do what we want, essentially, right? And gain the power of miracles, the thing that you've secretly wanted the entire time. You wanted to. Again, Judy's motivations are so convoluted, but they're so interesting as well. Because it's like, I want to possess the Rose Bride, not for the miracles, because I don't believe in them, but I want to possess her so I can prove that those miracles don't exist and give up hope for myself entirely. So they're at a conflict right now. Judy still wants to, again, possess the Rose Bride and do all that to prove that they don't exist, but Ruka wants to prove to Judy that they do exist so that she can continue to have hope in the future because he cares about her. So again, when these two come up as a couple to the dueling arena, they kind of want two very different things. But again, the subtext of Judy wanting that power in the first place, right, is still, hey, I kind of want a miracle. Still kind of really want a miracle. I just don't want to say it. And this is the important line. For miracles to occur, you need sacrifice. That's why I've been doing what I've been doing with Shiori, to bring out your latent potential. You coward, you want this miracle power that badly that you're willing to hurt the people that I care about? You're the one that yearns for miracles? Shiori isn't a tool for you? Gets very intense in the car here, I love it. And I believe this is a reveal. Believe in miracles and they will know your feelings. Weren't those your words, Judy? A very younger, greener, more optimistic Judy probably said that, right? Before everything happened with Shiori. And again, kind of, this is when he almost like fell in love with her, and her potential was when she felt like that. So Ruka wants to get her back to that point, right? Which again, senpai, kohai, creepy, I don't know, you fucking read into that however you want, but I choose to see it as a pretty noble goal. I want to make her hope again. I'm willing to do anything and everything to accomplish that. But I still wanted to feel hope. That's something. And then Judy spits back, right? You seem to misunderstand. Even if I gain this power, the only thing I'm going to do with this power is make sure that she is released from you. Because I care about Shiori above everything, right? Like, the only reason I'm using this is for Shiori. Like, it's not about anything else. So you trying to do this is, you're barking up the wrong tree, essentially. That's what she's saying. And almost in a contradictory way, in order to stop you, I am going to go along with you to gain said power and then use it to stop your plans with Shiori. Which is convoluted and, you know... Again, there's a lot of conflict for Ruka here, because it's like, okay, I mean, we're doing the thing, but she still really doesn't seem into it. But I guess it's decided we're going to go up and have a look. And then Akio drives the car faster and faster into the end of the world, does his gymnastics shit, and looks all sexy. And now I really love this scene too. So one of the first times we saw Judy in general was kind of looking out of the window, looking upon somebody else, right? There was that great shot, I believe it was a Hosoda episode, where we kind of panned the camera across and we noticed that kind of in a similar way, Judy and Utena were both looking out of different windows, which kind of related the characters in my mind. And now we have the shock of Utena upon learning that, you know, she's been challenged to another duel and that kind of thing. You too, Arisugawa-senpai? And Judy's not really happy about it. She's not facing this head on. She's still kind of looking out the window. Like, this is something I have to do rather than something I want to do at the moment. Again, you can keep talking about the kind of contrast between red and the shadows and the different characters here. A lot of red these two episodes. Oh, and there's your blue contrast too, in case you were wondering. Yeah, lots and lots of contrast. And yeah, the framing there, it's now time for the main event, Utena. Like, again, this is a 2-episode arc. It was pretty well framed during the first episode that the Shiori duel didn't really matter. It wasn't a real threat. Now, this is almost the tease of the Shadow Girls, and we see Shiori in the corner there, but nothing really comes of it. She's just kind of looking off. But I guess you can see that Shiori's looking off one way, and then we pan to Judy looking at something, right? Like, that's still some triangle shit, where the only time I can even see Shiori is, like, she's looking off into another direction still. Like that. Like, even though I'm looking at her right now, And even from this shot, it looks like we're looking eye to eye. I don't see that. I see like, it's like this, you know, this. Yeah, she's looking this way, another person's looking this way. That's what I see. And then Absolute Destiny, Apocalypse, of course, but we'll skip ahead. Again, very early in the episode, upon kind of retrospect now, I should have noticed. I was like, that's very early. Now, let's talk about costuming and which kind of side of the car they walk out of, right? Because we've driven up to the dueling arena, the kind of gates have opened even more and the car is allowed in. Ruka gets out, and again, bear with me because I'm Australian. Australians, the driver's seat would be on this side, where I'm pretty sure with this car it's on this side. Yeah, it is, based on where Torga's been sitting. So you come out of the passenger seat and Juri comes out of the driver's seat, which indicates to me that Juri is the one that's really instigating this, right? And then again, you could talk about kind of your gender role side of it all, right? Which is all very interesting as it pertains to Juri, right? One of the only female characters to come up to the dueling arena, like taking on the male traditional role as we've seen this go on. Like Mickey was standing here, Ruka was standing here last episode, like a ton of stuff there, right? And you're taking on the traditionally female role where like you're not wearing a dress, but you kind of are. You're coming out of the passenger seat, you're standing on this side. There's something there. There's something in that for sure. Oh, there's a grand tragedy to this as well, right? Because again, Ruka's into Juri, and Juri only gets close to him in so much as, like, it feels like necessity rather than actual passion here. And you can almost see it on his face that it's like, oh shit, fuck. And he's also like dying, so this may be the last time that he's even close to her. And a really, really fantastic shot here. I would love a full shot of that, a full portrait shot. I think that would look amazing. And again, a lot of the color seeped out of it, where color contrast has been a big theme this arc. Again, talks to the pale idea. Azure paler than the sky. I'm dying, I'm sickly, I'm grey, that kind of vibe. As always, we're going to do the song first. Hopefully it's not an absolute Google fest like the last one, but we'll see. An ode to the face, an ode to the neck, an ode to the hair, an ode to the nails, an ode to the chest, an ode to both hands, an ode to feet, my man, and an ode to the whole body. In other words, a crest, the heraldry of the human body. Okay, a lot about the different body parts and we're heraldry, which we're like heralds like sing of stuff, but it's like an angelish connection as well, godly, heavenly type thing. The form I see in the mirror, both subtle and complex, a well-known design. Well, form I see in the mirror, like what I see on the outside doesn't mirror what I see on the inside, which has been a lot of Juri's stuff, especially with the androgyny theme, which we keep bringing up in the lyrics of these songs as well. Both subtle and complex of well-known design, white spots on black cloth, courtly etiquette, black spots on white cloth, the form of a shield. Okay, maybe somebody can speak to that a little strongly than I can, but it's definitely evocative. Like the one spot on an otherwise clean cloth that is my one difference, the one thing I have to focus on, right? People clad in unintelligible symbols, something about the Baroque, wild scream Baroque. People clad in unintelligible symbols, the artistic history of the Baroque. Salamanders, dragons, porcupines. Let's look up Baroque again. Baroque came to English from the French word baroque, meaning irregularly shaped. At first, the word in French was used mostly to refer to pearls. Eventually, it came to describe an extravagant style of art characterized by curving lines, gilt, and gold. Okay, extravagance is, I guess, what we're getting at. Grandeur, sensuous richness, drama, dynamism, movement, tension, emotional exuberance, and the tendency to blur distinctions between various arts. Well, blurring distinctions is interesting. I don't know. We're not doing another fucking history lesson, art lesson here. I do that every week. Salamanders, dragons, porcupines, the Eucharist, a sacrament. Alright, we're going fucking everywhere. I don't know what all those kind of animals were about. Porcupines and salamanders? What do they do? Alright, chat room, I'm gonna need some help. Faith, virtue, the sealed away miracle of the rose. The bloom of man and beast. Pearls and gems, people and age. A cross of flowers, gold, silver, purple, green, red, blue, black. Well, those are some of our colours, a few of them. Alhambra, Isfahan, Caserta. Oh no, this screams of more Googling. Alright, the first one I looked up was a fucking fortress in fucking Spain. I don't know what we're talking about. Help me. Linderhof, Cheval Bomazo, Flora Matthias Versailles, Obelisk Zamesk something? What was that? Obelisk Zamek Solabella, Orpheus Grotta. Oh my god, this shit's so European. I'm not even going to try. Neuschwanstein? Sure. Santa Maria della Concezione? Caves, sculptures, fountains, parks, and palaces. All right, and it seems like we're referencing various places, a lot of places, a lot of places in Europe, a lot of castles, a lot of fortresses, a lot of creations, bronze work, frescoes, domes, castles, villas, these great pieces of history and art that were propelled upon something, some kind of emotion, potentially love. These works of art that potentially took people getting trampled upon to be built, these miracles of modern design. Anything like that? But also referencing a bunch of character names from various pieces of literature as well, which probably mirror the characters in the scenes right now. All around, alive and living, forms of myself. Near and far, I am all the mysteries. Far and near, I am all the mysteries. In all creation, I am all the mysteries. In all the world, I am all the mysteries. And then I don't think we have any more lyrics, and we kind of move from there into some of the really cool stuff. Yeah, the music kind of stops here, almost. Yeah, we kind of fade out as she grabs her own rose and throws it to the ground, which is an amazing moment for the character. But we'll go back through the fight, which I think, watching that again, one of the most important aspects of the framing of that fight is like focusing on the fight that happened before instead, the fight between the two people that should have been on the same side but are not. Like the fight between Utena and Juri doesn't matter, it's more about the conflict of emotions and the feelings between Ruka and Juri. The fighting in general is really well directed again. I love the cutting between this fight and the other fight, of course, but the swordplay just in general and the shots and the dynamic movement of the camera and the kind of it's just cool. It's really cool. And this is the fencing duel from before, obviously. And we're talking about the hidden feelings, how painful they must be. Like really trying to get at your hidden feelings as a weak point. As I beat you in this fencing duel. Oh, and then yeah, this is great. So we pan from like this action shot of Ruka here stabbing forth, and then that sword is also stabbing towards Utena. So as Ruka is going to hurt Juri potentially, he pulls himself back in the same way that Juri is pulling herself back in this fight here. Ruka doesn't want to hurt Juri. Juri is the object of some amount of affection. I don't care to hurt her, actually. Same thing happening here, right? I don't want to trample on people. I don't want to actually kill people in the service of what I want, says Juri here, right? And Utena is good people. And I think Juri knows that in a way. I don't actually want to hurt her. Like, don't hesitate, Juri. But you were the one that hesitated against me in our earlier fight. Yeah, the moment of hesitation as it pertains to Utena is interesting. I think Utena may be that true representation of hope that you hope comes true one day, maybe. Again, we've kept a pretty stark eye on... that's really funny too. We've kept a really stark eye on Anshi through all of this, and her particular role in Mickey and Cosway's stuff. She's less involved here. I think she just knows that the characters are going to like falter anyway and doesn't need to show her hand any more than she has to. But I'd like to think she has some plans in the back of her mind in case things go really south. I feel like Anshi is still really looking out for Utena here. We have more dialogue here from the previous fight. Juri, she's a fool. Speaking about Shiori, she doesn't realize that you get miracles only by standing on the sacrifices of others. Yet miracles only come to people like her. Like, what is... Okay, listen. Only miracles come to people like her. Replace miracles with love. The only person in this purported love triangle that have been in legitimate relationships is Shiori. Why is she the one that continually keeps getting love when, from both Ruka and Juri's perspective, they're more worthy of feeling love or getting to feel love? Yeah, this is a very interesting piece of dialogue, right? And kind of throwing judgment on Shiori. It's not just like, I don't want to date her, I actively don't like her based on the events of the previous episode. Don't you find that unfair, Juri, that she's the one that gets all of this? However, despite all of it, right? A lot of Juri, a lot of fucking Shiori. Despite everything, when the prince comes down and cuts me loose of my affection, my symbolic affection for Shiori, I don't know what to do with myself, and I throw in the towel. That is also my hope. So, in trying to attain the miracle, based on my hope, based on Shiori, in trying to attain that miracle, I have to trample upon Shiori. And as soon as that's cut away, as soon as the reality of that hits me, that I do have to cut her away if I want to attain this power, that is when I give up. That is when I lose hope. And that is the grand contradiction there. And that's what makes this scene very tragic for all characters involved, really. Again, we can't go past a Judy scene without talking about the stage direction metaphor, right? So we've got like the light shining up from below, which signals the stage direction from above, which is going to rain down the prince upon us. That combined with now a grey sky, also involving this paler sky theme, right? With again a pretty obvious pathetic fallacy thing with the weather kind of mirroring the feeling of the scene. So it's not just that Shiori is getting cut loose as well, it's being cut loose and it's being shown to everybody. And I still, despite everything, can't bear that as well. Yeah, really great. Again, I hate to bring it up because it's a bit of a cliche, almost a Yamada-esque focus on the legs here. Stumbling, unsure, coming to a halt, holding my heart. The thing that was close to my heart is no longer near me. It's been cut away, and I'm dying. It's almost like she's dying. She's being very dramatic about it. Yeah, stumbling before coming to a complete stop. Looking up, thinking about Shiori, thinking about that silhouetted shot of Shiori, where she has no emotion on her face, like I can't remember it almost, and that fills me with such despair that I throw away my rose. And the music fades out, and there's no more fight. And then the rain starts. But there's an important distinction about the rain as well that we get on the wide shot here. Well, the rain is also like tears, which is a pretty obvious little thing that appears in most fiction. That's why rain and sadness are aligned so hard. But the important thing here is I believe the rain is coming from the castle, and only the castle. The kind of shower here doesn't exist beyond this one zone, right? Again, much to the stage direction metaphor, rain on a stage does not mean it's raining outside. Like, so this is kind of singular in this moment. It's almost like we're transported to somewhere else where we are dueling. But it also means that whoever is dictating the stage directions above us also wanted this to happen. This is probably largely part of the plan. Whether that be the prince, whether that be Akio, whether that be whoever else, I think this is part of what they wanted to have happen, or wanted to have go on. Yeah, really amazing scene to close us out, right? Again, contrast between kind of Utena and Anchi. Utena looks devastated. Anchi does not care, or at least is doing a good job at hiding it. Ruka comes over, and with one of his final moments on screen, he just reassures Judy that everything's going to be okay. And yeah, no response from her. She just looks up at the rain. We don't get to see her eyes. It's heavily implied that she's crying. The windscreen wipers on the cars is a nice touch. And yeah, these two are left in a pale, bluish, sad scene with a lot of fog. We don't know what's coming ahead. The last moment we're together, not in embrace, just kind of standing both alone looking up at the fucking rain. Then we have Judy back in her triangle seat, right? Where she repeats the words, "It'll all be alright, huh? But hey, I'm in this room all alone. Nobody is here with me. Shiori's off doing her own thing. Ruka's in fucking hospital. I'm all alone again. And you say it's all going to be okay? Feels like I'm still sad. I'm still sad old Judy." And now, the opinions of the masses yet again, where we get to hear a lot of exposition. Ruka hasn't been coming to school lately. I see, and he just recovered. Well, he'll be sorry if he gets expelled for poor attendance. I like this idea we're conflating being expelled with death as well, which we did with Mikage. Like him finally passing on was when he graduated. Again, more to this school as life metaphor right? Why Akio keeps holding on to it so much. I don't know what this is about. We have Miki and Nanami just kind of talking here. Oh, well, that girl's hurt her leg. Don't worry, with Jury in charge, we don't need to do anything. We know that she's got this. But again, she's all alone at the very top. There's nobody with her. I'm sure she would appreciate the help. But again, stoic, genius, badass Jury can just do it all. Let's leave her alone. When we see Jury's most vulnerable moments, she really, really wants that companionship. And it's only a coincidence that now she's in the hospital with this one girl that hurt her fucking ankle or whatever, right? Where she walks away and we get the Shadow Girls in the same scene, right? The Shadow Girls here are interacting with Jury almost really like directly. It's almost like they're taking on the role again of these masses that I keep talking about, just kind of spreading gossip, and it eventually gets to her. So, hey, did you hear? That patient died yesterday. Poor guy, and he was really cute too. And in the hospital, he kept saying how much he wanted to fence again. So again, heavily implied that this is Ruka. He apparently knew how sick he was, but he still insisted on leaving the hospital to go back to school. He put it all on the line, with basically the last week of his life, to help Judy feel hope again, and ultimately was not successful in doing so because he imparted the knowledge to Judy that in order to have miracles, in order to have hope, you need to trample on those below you. And Judy doesn't want to do that because she's badass. Potentially, and again, I sound like a broken record here, we need some kind of revolution that means that we're not going to trample on the little guy anymore to get what we want. Which again was a bit of a Wakaba theme back in the day as well, with all these side characters that I was talking about. And is really, really funny with regards to Judy's status as well. Arasagawa, that really famous name, that kind of standing on top of the school, very, very important. And Judy can't trample on the little guy to get what she wants, even though it would be perfect in her position to do so based on the archetype of her character. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. Kind of synthesizing it with other episodes and their theming. Yeah, there must have been a girl in the fencing club that he loved. That reminds me, he used to say something like that a lot. He wanted to give the power of miracles to the one he loved. Again, Judy is realizing this only upon hearing this from Scuttlebutt in the hospital. He wanted to free her from something. Again, that locket, it's almost like a chain around her neck as well, keeping her locked. But she wants to continue to be locked. She wants to be imprisoned. If you want to get more and more direct, we've changed our chairs a little bit. Judy's chair, which she has been sitting in, is now facing towards a chair that doesn't exist. She's caring for Ruka in this one moment. And Shiori's almost reversed her polarization as well, which is kind of crazy. We've also color inverted the scene because it's afternoon. So there's something in that. The most obvious thing here being that there's a chair missing because one of the characters in said triangle is now dead. We get the last shot of the episode, which is basically Judy walking. We don't get to see her face, and she's just walking off into the unknown. There's dead trees around her. Shiori is following a little bit in tow, but just kind of behind. Not together, but still following her. And we don't get any closure at all. It's a very, very bittersweet ending. Way more bitter than sweet, I will say. I've heard some people in the Discord said, hey, this ending is more hopeful than you think based on other things that I'll learn later, but we'll say. I'm feeling pretty sad, bummed out about this right now. The dialogue here it's almost like a Your Line April type thing. Spoilers for Your Line April. There's a letter at the end. It's read out to somebody that somebody can't really hear the letter or can't hear the response to the letter. Yeah, listen. It's giving me that kind of vibe. Very, very sad. Let me read the dialogue here verbatim. Are you well? The next time we meet, there's something I want to ask you. What did you hope to gain by pursuing the power of miracles? And who did you hope to help by getting it? I pray that those feelings reach her. And again, the tragedy of it is that her is you. Those feelings were directed towards you, right? Again, as I said, we also see Shiori joining the fray here from behind this tree. She just kind of pops out and continues on her merry way following Judy. The only two left in this triangle. Only one line here instead of a full-on triangle like that. And then from there we end the episode. Alright, I know this is like 11th hour. Like at the very end I'm going to continue to ramble about this, but I should. So the very ending here, because I was just having a discussion on Discord and I wanted to add to this, right? The very ending here is very, very, very important and I kind of refuse to analyze even further. So what Juri is doing here is willfully denying the thing that Ruka would have wanted to happen from his true feelings. His true feelings were for Juri. He wanted those feelings to reach her and her to feel hope again and her to feel life again and love. And what does this look like to you? This looks like death. This looks like winter. This looks cold, right? Juri's actions right now, refusing to understand Ruka's motivations, mirrors what she would have thought would have happened to her motivations if they were revealed. Like, if Juri's motivations and feelings were revealed to the masses, she believes that they wouldn't understand them. So thus, she externalizes this by not understanding Ruka's feelings in turn, almost purposefully. Like refusing to think for more than a second about it, even though it's very, very obvious what he meant the entire time now. Juri also sees herself as almost unlovable in a way and refuses to believe that anybody else could love her the way that she loves other people, right? So she's literally refusing it, right up to the point where this guy dies, you know? Like almost refusing to go see him again, go see Ruka again, even though she knows he went back to hospital. She has to. And just denying it all, just putting her head in the sand. She doesn't want any part of it, and I think she's projecting for what she thinks would have happened to her if she got her feelings across. Because again, Ruka and Juri mirror basically all the time. And despite Juri not turning her head back, she's still got Shiori following her. Now again, people say this ending's hopeful. That's depressing as fuck. This is the least hopeful thing I've ever seen. I don't understand. Maybe more will come from this. But yeah, I just wanted to add this at the very end. Yeah, I don't know what to make of a lot of that. I rambled for a bit, and hopefully some of it turned into content. But we will see. There was a lot to unpack, a lot to unpack for sure. And I'm not sure I got all of it, but I think I got the character motivation side of it and how wishy-washy and flippy-floppy it is. And again, the overall point of Juri refusing to engage with this power of miracles, because in doing so, she would need to trample on those below her, up to and including Shiori, and she doesn't want to do that. Once she is cut free of Shiori in that way, right? She's cut free of her locket, she's cut free of that. She gives up all hope altogether. It's not worth it if I'm pursuing this power and I don't get what I ultimately want in the end. I don't want power overall. I want power with regards to Shiori. And if I don't get that with what I'm doing here, then what's the point? So I'm going to throw away my rose. But in doing so, throwing away her rose, she also fucking dooms Ruka's motivations there. It's pretty complex. It's a complex old triangle. One of the better love triangles I've seen in a minute. Because normally it's a bit of a crutch for bad writers. But they're not bad writers here. They're good ones, which is good. I'm going to stop talking. But this was good again. I believe we're doing one next week. Then it'll be 31, 32, then 33 by itself. Something like that. That's my plan over the next 3 weeks or so. Because then it's 30, 31, 32, and then 33. And then it's like 6 episodes left, then we're done. Oh, and then the movie. So yeah, I'm interested. I want to see what happens. And now I've got to edit this sucker, so that's going to be fun too. Patreon, do the Patreon. Discord, it's fun on the Discord. I like it. Twitter, subscribe, comment. All the normal things. All right, I'm going to say goodbye now. Thanks for watching Utena with me this week. I'll catch you next week. Goodbye.